Once upon a time, in a land bathed in the warm African sun, the sky was not how we know it today. It was a deep, dark canvas, a void without a single sparkle. During the day, the sun blazed brightly, casting long shadows and painting the world in vibrant colors. But when the sun dipped below the horizon, the land was engulfed in absolute darkness. It was a frustrating time for the people of that land, especially the storytellers and the children. Without the moon or stars, there was no light to guide their paths, no celestial jewels to inspire their imaginations. There lived a wise old woman named Mama Tembo. She was the village elder, and her face was a roadmap of countless seasons. The lines around her eyes deepened with each tale she told, and her voice was like the soothing rhythm of a gentle river. The children of the village loved coming to her hut to listen to her stories, but with the sky so dark, they often complained. "Mama Tembo," little Zola would often say, tilting her head, "why is the night so dark?" "Yes, and why are there no pretty lights like the fireflies, but bigger and higher up?" added a boy named Kofi, always full of questions. Mama Tembo would smile, her eyes twinkling like the far-off fires of distant villages. "Ah, my little ones, that is a story for another day. But one day, I promise, I will tell you why the night is the way it is." The people of the village relied on the light of their fires to see after the sun went down. They were constantly having to tend to these fires, adding more firewood, making sure they didn't go out, and they were always in danger of burning something accidentally. It was hard to work, to find their way, and to enjoy the cool evenings without some kind of light. One night, a young man named Jabari, known for his restless spirit and curious mind, decided he couldn't wait any longer. He had heard his grandmother tell a story about a magical lake far beyond the hills that was said to hold the secrets of light. He resolved to go on a journey to this lake. So early in the morning, before the sun was fully awake, Jabari set off. He carried with him a small pouch of dried fruit, a leather water skin, and a heart full of hope. He walked for days, his feet growing sore and his skin sunburnt. He crossed dusty plains, navigated through dense forests, and forded rushing rivers. At times, he felt discouraged, the vastness of the land making his quest seem impossible. But he remembered the dark nights of his village, and the desire to bring light back drove him onward. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Jabari arrived at a place he had only imagined. It was a large lake, and unlike any other he had seen. The water was not clear and blue, but a deep, shimmering black. It seemed to absorb the surrounding light, giving it an otherworldly feel. As Jabari approached the edge, the surface of the lake began to ripple, and he could hear the sound of soft whispers. He stepped closer, and then, to his amazement, small, glowing embers began to float up from the depths of the lake, each one like a tiny, precious light. He realized that this was the magic he had been searching for. The lake was not just water, it was a source of light, a vessel filled with the essence of brightness. Jabari scooped up handfuls of these glowing embers and placed them into his pouch, which he had carefully lined with soft leaves to keep them safe. He carefully tied the pouch to his shoulder, feeling the gentle warmth radiating from inside. With a joyful heart, Jabari began his long trek back home. When Jabari finally reached his village, the sun was just starting to set. The villagers had gathered around their fires, their faces weary and illuminated by the flickering flames. He walked towards them, his steps sure and his eyes bright. "Look!" he exclaimed, holding up his pouch. The villagers watched in astonishment as Jabari slowly opened the pouch. The glowing embers, which had been safely contained, now began to rise into the air, ascending gracefully into the darkening sky. They were not just embers anymore. They transformed into shining, twinkling lights of all sizes. Some were small and delicate like fireflies, while others were larger and bolder, resembling distant suns. A collective gasp rose from the villagers. They had never seen anything so breathtaking. Children pointed and laughed with glee, their faces alight with wonder. The men and women gazed at the sky in speechless awe, captivated by the radiant display. Mama Tembo emerged from her hut, leaning on her walking stick. Her eyes, though old, were filled with a bright light. "This," she declared, her voice thick with emotion, "is the true light." The sky, once a void, was now a spectacular sight. The tiny lights, stars as they came to be called, seemed to dance and twirl, forming patterns and constellations that the villagers had never dreamt of. The darkness had been conquered, replaced by the soft, comforting glow of the night sky. But Jabari's journey was not over. He told the villagers about the magical lake, about how careful you must be to take from it, but also that it gives freely to those who respect it. He made it clear that he didn't want every bit of light, but just enough for everyone to see. Mama Tembo saw that Jabari was not just a brave traveler, but also a wise young man. The village became known for its beautiful sky, but they didn't want to keep it to themselves. They knew there were others who longed for a bit of light in their night. So they sent out messengers who shared what had happened through the lands. There were men and women who made the trek, traveling to the lake and taking with them the light. And so the stars slowly began to spread out across the world. They became beacons of hope, guiding lost travelers, inspiring dreams, and filling the hearts of all who gazed upon their gentle brilliance. Children started to learn the stories of the different patterns they could see, the animals and heroes that they seemed to become. The sky was a great book that was always available for every person in every village. The people learned to read the constellations, discovering how to use them for navigation and to mark the changing seasons. The storytellers spun new tales about the stars, about their origins in the shimmering lake, and about the brave young traveler who had brought light to the world. The old woman, Mama Tembo, would often gather the children to share with them a very special story. It was a story about a brave traveler and a lake full of light. It was the story of why the stars shine at night. She would say, "Remember, children, the stars are not just pretty lights. They are a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. They are a testament to the courage of one young man and the magic that exists in our world. Appreciate the beauty they bring, and never take their light for granted." And as the children looked up at the sky filled with countless stars, they would remember Mama Tembo's words and feel a sense of wonder and gratitude. There were stars that lit up the night and made the world a much brighter, much more magical place. The world had changed because a young man decided to do something. He decided to make a difference. And to this very day, the stars continue to shine, reminding us of his courage and of the beauty that can be found in the darkness, if only we are willing to look for it. It was all because of Jabari and his journey that the world was filled with light.